Okay. Hello. Um, today, today I'm gonna try to fix my Xbox. That's a lie. Today we're gonna start by finding what hard drive is in my Xbox because I'm pretty sure the hard drive is bad. Not the hard drive, the disk drive. Um, I mean, I guess what are we doing here? What are we doing on the chatting screen? Let's just go to the camera. Okay. So I have an Xbox, and oh, hold on. Are we still dead? We might. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think we're back. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Um, so I have this Xbox here. This is an Xbox 360. Growing up, I didn't really have an Xbox 360. I had a PlayStation 3. I had a PlayStation 3 um, Slim. I had a second generation PlayStation 3, and it was fine, right? But I always had some games on Xbox that I wanted to play, right? Number one game I wanted to play was probably Alan Wake, and Alan Wake was the one I cared about. I mean, Xbox had other exclusives. They had what? Gears of War was one of them. Halo. Didn't really care about that. I played Halo 2 on the PC, so I didn't really feel like I was missing out so much. Um, there was a couple others, and they're kind of escaping me. Oh, Lost Odyssey. Lost Odyssey. That was a JRPG that Microsoft financed specifically to try to sell Xboxes because they knew PlayStation had better JRPG selection. But yeah, so I spent most of my youth playing on the PS3, PS4. I have a PS5, and over the last maybe like 3 or 4 years, I started collecting games a little bit more seriously. I was like, oh yeah, I should probably, since I have the finances for it, I might as well start keeping a few of them. And a coworker of mine, I told him about this. I was like, yeah, I just have old consoles and I try to keep them in nice condition and everything, and make sure I play them. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I got an Xbox. Do you want it? And I was like, oh, sure. I got like $50 in my wallet. Absolutely, bring it by. I'll buy it from you. So he brought me this tub, like a big plastic tub, and it had this Xbox, power adapter, a controller, and it had like Oblivion, a UFC game, a real like just a few smattering. And then he was like, "Oh, do you?" I was like, "Okay, how much do you want, man? I'll pay you." He was like, "Nah, I don't care. I don't mind. Just take it." It was just sitting in the basement. Okay, cool. So I got a free Xbox, and it also came with a hard drive, as you could see by this dark gray here. We'll take this off a little bit later. And it worked. It worked wonderfully. And I bought some additional games for it. I bought the breakaway cable for the controller, so I didn't have to use the batteries. I also got a network adapter because I wanted to use wireless because these do not come with Wi-Fi. But unfortunately, it would never work with that adapter. I don't know why. And then this hard drive is 120 gigabyte hard drive. So it was in working shape, and then I moved from my old house to here at this apartment. Got everything set up. I didn't think any issues arose. But you may have remembered a couple weeks ago I tried to play Alan Wake. and it wouldn't read the disk. And I was like, well, shit, you know, it's working. It's working just fine, right? It turns on everything, you know, no issues there. It even has the this one does have a internet Ethernet port, and disk drive comes in and out. But when you put a disk in, comes into the console, it says reading, and then nothing. Nothing happens at all. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe it's the disk. So I tried a different disk. Nothing. So I was like, all right, I scrapped that. I started playing Alan Wake on the PC. But in the meanwhile, I was like, I want to make sure I fix this console. And I did a little bit of research on it, and I found out that these consoles, they have some disk drive errors, right? This is already after they fixed the red ring of death, but some disk drives do have problems. So to replace it, I need to know which manufacturer of disk drive is in it. I think there were 5 that made the disk drives, and I need to match the exact manufacturer for it to work. Otherwise, it just won't work. You can't just take one off the shelf and pop it in because it'll go crazy on you. And I don't want to mod it. You know, I don't want to go crazy on it. Although I guess now that I have another one, I bought a second generation Xbox, and that works wonderfully. So I guess I could play around with this and mod it, and I don't really care to. But I'd rather have it working than not. So um, forgive me for the setup here. So first thing we're gonna do is right on the top here. Is that gonna read? That's metal. Ah, there we go. 120 gigabyte hard drive disk. Pretty simple. We just press this button and it comes out. You can see it's got one port there. And so this is I think this is just a 2.5-inch hard drive. But they sold these in proprietary cases. But if you really felt like it, you could just take these apart. This is just like a little fancy caddy, and put your own inside, right? And so this is a 120 gig. Honestly, not that bad for this era of gaming. Sixth generation console. I don't think it really matters. So, but this is good. This is known good, and it actually has some installed data on it. So we'll put this to the side. Actually got a little bit of black tea here. Okay, so I've taken apart my PlayStations before. I haven't done an Xbox yet. And honestly, I have a video on my other screen here. I don't think I need that just yet, because this is mostly plastic. Now, PlayStation, I will say, is a lot better for taking apart, because, you know, they have little stickers. You peel those off, unscrew it, and it just comes apart. PlayStation 2 is like that. PlayStation 3 is like that. My PS4 Pro, same thing. PS4 Pro is a little bit weird because it's like a weird shape. But still, just screws are accessible from the outside. All right, good. There you go. This one has plastic. This one has plastic that like clips into place. So actually, let me make sure I turn this off. Here we go. Whoops. Make sure I turn off the audio from the camera. So this has these weird like plastic grates. And actually, let me turn off this light. Is that better? That's a little better. It's reading across. I have an extra light, just in case it wasn't coming across. Let me get a little screwdriver. Okay, can't find my screwdriver. I got a pick, a little snap-on pick from when I used to be a mechanic. There you go. Got the edge there. And you can see it's starting to come up. And we already cracked it. There we go. I love plastic. I love plastic so much. Makes me really happy when all my consoles are made of fucking plastic. Let's see here. So you can see we already broke right here. Well, you could kind of see it. Little plastic separation there. Because I did take this apart a little bit before this video. But as soon as I got to like the faceplate, I was like, yeah, I need a video for that. Get my little pick here, get in there. There we go, there's another one. And one left. And this last one is a real sucker. It's in my lap. Oh, no, they all went back in, of course. Okay, that one's out. Next one. Come on. Come on, get in there. There we go. And then, of course, the ones at the end have gotten back into their lock position. There you go. Ah. That's why I hate Xbox. Oh, look, a little piece of plastic that we already broke. No one cares. Alright, so you can tell this is the bottom plate because it has little rubber stamps here. That's trash, whatever. Okay. And that's what it looks like underneath. This is just like metal. So we had a plastic mesh and then metal mesh. So let's do the other side, I believe. Realfy, hello? Hello, I'm here damaging my Xbox or trying to fix it. Actually, maybe I should play the video. Where does he start off? Does he start off on the hard drive plate?
Well, the first step's pretty simple. It doesn't require any tools. You just got to take the hard drive out. There's a little button on the top. You push down on the button.
How are you doing, Realfy? How's university treating you?
And the hard drive will swing right off the top. The next step does require a tool. You got to pry the faceplate. Generally speaking, when I'm working with plastic, I tend to not want to use sharp metal tools. A lot of people use the.
So this Xbox has a bad disk drive. It's a working console, but the disk drive doesn't read disks. So that's what we're trying to get. We need to get the disk drive out because we need we need to know which manufacturer made the drive. So we're going to disassemble it, rip the disk drive out, figure out where it's from. I'm going to go on eBay, probably, that's where I usually go, and find another disk drive. Today's kind of weekend, no lectures. Does university over there, do they have Monday, Wednesday, Friday scheduling? Kind of like universities here?
If you're really careful, no problem. I find that using rounded tools or tools that are made of wood, plastic, that tends to be a little bit safer. It keeps me from making a mistake, marring the plastic, gouging the plastic, cracking the plastic, because they're just a little bit softer, and if they're rounded, they're less likely to scratch. As you know, if you watched the channel before, I like to use tongue depressors. I got a whole bag of them. I put a link in the description below to where I got it. But there just so happens to be right at the foot of the base plate here a perfect hole to insert a tongue depressor. So I put it in there and I just start sliding it all the way around.
Okay, so I guess this guy starts with the faceplate. So well, let's try this. A little hard to do this on camera. We actually have a schedule, and every Wednesday we haven't had any lectures, so that's pretty nice. Oh, good. There we go. So starting to click here. Ah, wish it wasn't so washed out. Let me lower the camera. Just a little. Whoop. That turned it off. Just just on the lowest setting. And the all right. So there's the faceplate of the Xbox. Little memory cards go in there, spring loaded from the back. You have important lectures on Saturday. Oh, that's hell. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, and so like where you insert the USBs, this is another little spring loaded piece. Got our button here. Okay. Fortunately, we didn't break this. Put that behind us. Okay. See what he says the next step is. Well, I hope you take it easy.
You can do it any way you want. You can stick your fingernails under there, or you can stick a jewelry screwdriver in there. Be really careful.
I don't really have. This is a little bit impromptu. I don't really have like music to play or anything to keep it more interesting. So now they're doing the top plate. Oh, interesting. So they maybe I should use a different pick for this. So I have these picks, and these are actually snap-on. These are snap-on picks. These were a gift when I was a mechanic. I was a diesel mechanic for a little while. And the guy I was working with was a guy named Justin. Justin Delaney. He was a pretty cool guy. And I got another job. And he was like, hey, you're pretty cool to work with, man. I'm kind of sad that I taught you and then you got another job. But hey, I got you a present. And they gave me these picks. Usually I never went for snap-on stuff because it's too expensive. All right, well, I got this end here. You can kind of see it. The end here is coming up. I don't know how to get the other ones though. Ah, there we go. There's another one. Getting our hand more in here. Oh, there's the other side. Good. So I got 4 out of the 6 here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I guess there's holes here. Let me do it first and then I'll show you. Is that it? Come on. Ah, that was it. Nice. So here's this crappy piece of plastic. There we go. Get that out of here. Okay, so what he was saying in the video was, let's get a good angle here. You can kind of see how this hole's filled here, these two, and on the other side, these two holes are filled. So he says go to the middle hole and push the tab inwards to make it release. Wonderful. Okay, now we look at the top here, and there's our port where the hard drive would normally plug into, sans the decorative plastic. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure I could just split this apart on the back. Let me just continue the video here just so I know what I'm doing.
For me, I'm going to take a blunted bamboo because again, it's a little wood, it's a little bit soft, likely won't burn or
Still got a little bit of tea here.
and it fits perfectly into this hole. I took the sharp edge off of it, I just blended it a little bit.
This guy's using like bamboo skewers or something. He's like, I don't want to damage the plastic. Who cares, dude? Can you drink beer after a root canal? Yes or no? Are you on pain medication? Also, what's up, Hempy? No? Yeah, you can drink beer. I'm out of beers. I actually finished my last one just a little earlier. How are you doing? How did it go? I remember when I had mine, it didn't really hurt afterwards. It only hurt during. Unless you're going back for round two. Because I know when they did mine, they like did part of it and then they came out. They put a temporary and then I had to come back and then they did more. This one's for you. Cheers. Cheers, MP. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward. He starts on the front, so we'll do that. We got the front here without the faceplate. I love how the light is just washing it out. I got the temporary filling. Ah, yeah. Did it hurt? Was it bad? Are you okay? I mean, you're a big girl. You know what you're doing. Oh, there goes another one. Okay, there's three. So you can kind of see this already splitting apart here. Got one more. Got one more. Get the pick in there. All right. Felt the tension come off. Okay. See how that's loose. As for 5 shots of numbing, oh yeah. Yeah, I always have them numb me up because I'm a big baby. Because I don't want to feel anything. I'd rather just like go through the shot and they do it and it's like, all right, I'll be numb for half the day, but we'll be good. Just a little bit uncomfortable because you tried eating too soon. Oh, that's a shame. Did when do you go back? Tomorrow? It's not tomorrow, right? You're not going back tomorrow? Oh my god, they make an Xbox 360 opening tool? Jesus Christ. Oh, just push into it. That's in December? Oh my god. Actually, I had a really rough time when I did mine because I had a root canal and then they put the temporary on. And this was when I was young. I was on my parents' health insurance. Hello, Snacks. How are you doing? And my dad lost his job, and we didn't have money or health insurance. So we just kind of left it, you know. I had the temporary on, never got it crowned off, and then I got a jaw infection after that, and because of the root canal, the infection was able to travel down into my jawbone, and I lost a good bit of bone. So once my dad got a job back and we actually got everything going, I went back and they were like, "Yeah, you lost a good amount of bone mass in your jaw, so we had to take that out. Real, if you need to reboot your PC, oh, well, uh, hopefully it works. Good luck." Um, so they had to, number one, take out the infected tooth, which broke. It broke in there, and then they cut my gums to expose the bone. They took out the infected bone and they put in a bone graft, which is just like it looks like, I actually have one at my desk. It looks like salt, right? It just looks like really big grain salt, but it's bone from a dead guy, and they just put it in your jaw, and then they sewed me up, and then your body heals around it, so it just like heals around it, and then once that was all set, then they were like, all right, we're gonna put the implant in. So then they went in and they basically put a self-tapping screw into that new bone, and then the crown on top of that. And that's how an implant works with bone loss. But you know, I'll tell you, during the surgery, when they were doing the bone graft, they gave me what did they give me? Oxycodone. They gave me some crazy opioid, and I was so high, you know, because I was sitting in that chair and I was awake, and then it felt like a dental cleaning, right? I was like, okay, when is it gonna start hurting? I was like really worried. I was like, man, you know, this is gonna be really rough. I don't know when it's gonna start hurting. And then I was like, doctor, yeah, what's up? I when are you gonna start? Because I'm getting kind of worried. And then he was like, oh, dude, I cut your gums off like 10 seconds into the procedure, man. He was like, do you want a mirror? Do you want to see it? And then he gave me a mirror and I looked and I was like so high I just saw like just like a hole. And I was like, huh, that's cool. And he was like, yeah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. They didn't give me anything, just ibuprofen. Yeah, if you don't have any like major bone work, you should be fine just with ibuprofen. So now we're going on this little seam right here. We're gonna try taking this apart. Got our pick again. Oh, I heard a click. Bam. Oh, well that's easy. One more. Come on. No, no. Why is this last one near the power plug is a real pain in the ass. Bam. Not supposed to do this, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. There we go. Damn, this thing is still holding on. All right. Jeez, what a pain in the butt. Way back when your Xbox got the red ring, trust me, wrap it in a towel, turn it on, and you did, and never recovered. So the red ring of death was, I think it was a ball. I said ball. It was a, what's the word for it? So when a CPU or any chip attaches to a circuit board, um, usually it'll be like a CPU on like my Intel CPUs. My Intel CPUs have flat um LGA land grid array, and they just put themselves on the pins. AMD ones have the pins, at least AM4 had the pins on the CPU, and they just slot into the socket. Um, Usually for GPUs and for consoles, because it's permanent, you're never going to change the CPU or GPU. You put them on with solder in every single dot. Welcome back, Realfy. And then they heat it up, and it sticks, it melts, it solders to every little bit. And if I remember correctly, the cooling was too bad on it, and some balls of solder would just fall off, and it just wouldn't work. So either way, so here's the plate. This one is just plastic, kind of thick plastic actually. It says Microsoft here on the bottom, and you could see we did damage it on these locking tabs. Good, 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 good. Is that even coming across? Let me turn off the light. There we go. Still washed out. There's a little bit of broken plastic here, right? Who cares? And then over on this side where the battery was, you could see I really jacked this one up. Whatever. That's why I don't like. That's why I don't like Xbox. All right, let's get to this side. There you go. Got our console here. Still has the bottom. Actually, does this just come off? Might just come off. It's stuck on something. Hmm. Oh, it's got like tabs in there. Okay, let me watch the video before I rip this thing in half.
And when you push into those holes, you'll hear a little pop, and that'll let you know the plastic release. The problem is there's so many of them, and it's clear what each of those little tabs does. It's just a little ring on the
Okay,
end of a tab.
a little
All
more
you're
tea.
trying to do is get that to pop out just a little bit so it releases. And so now the side of the Xbox can come off, and that reveals this plate, which has a number of screws. There are only six that I want to release. They are the six long
Oh,
screws.
you got your 360 Slim. Really, you had a Slim that had a red ring of death? Usually it was the Fats that
Other
had it.
side of the Xbox, the other piece of plastic which right now is put on the bottom to the chassis of the Xbox. So once I have
Ah,
that
these are
connected,
screwed in.
I'm able to remove the other side of the plastic. If you
So let me turn the light back on here. There we go. SMD is cracked. Yeah. So, what is he going for? Is he going for the silver ones or the black ones?
really only wanted to get these six.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take out these screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, they hate people, so they use Torx. But fortunately for me, I have my tools here. Here's here's my go-to tray. I do have a toolbox with me. Let's see here. Not hex. Torques. Are these torques? Yeah, they're torques. Fuck torques. Um, torques is good. Torques is good, except torques is used as a security measure, and that's what pisses me off. And I had to spend a little bit of extra money to get these bits. And you could see on the bits they have a little circle in the middle of them. So these are actually security torques. So even if it has the dot in them, I can use them. So I think this is a T10. Really want to repair it and color. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I actually have, you know what? If there's a stream to show it off, it's this stream. Let me get right back. I have two consoles that I modded that I know you guys would enjoy. Hold on. Okay, and we're back. So, the first console I ever modded was this. This is a PS2. Now, this case is from AliExpress from China. Pork chop, hello. This case is from China, and I just searched up slim PS2 because I really love how the transparent plastics look. But the molding is always a little bit cheap, so I did have to go in with. Did I even use a Dremel? I don't think I even used a Dremel. See, like it's hard to open, unlike a regular one. And where the laser moves along the to read the disc, this plastic was actually overcast, and I had to go in there and cut it back so that that could move. So that was a pain in the butt. Getting the spring door to work, that was a pain in the butt. It has a little thing here, right in here. There's a little plastic nub, and this presses a switch on the motherboard to tell it that it's closed. And it's like not long enough. So, and you could even see the plastic, like, you can see it buckling right here. So you have to like, I would get a cup of coffee and I'd put the coffee on it and just like press it down and then it would work. Um, have I made an HDMI mod on it? No, this is stock. The only thing that's changed is the case, nothing else. Everything else is stock on this. All right, there's all the ports, power, audio visual, optical audio, and then these had the integrated network port already on them. And then because the casting is kind of bad on it, I didn't really trust air to get in. So I drilled some holes here so that the fan could just suck in air from the top, shoot it out the back. But this one works good. I have a black one. That's the one I play on. So I have two PS2s. And I think this one came out a lot better because the plastic is beautiful. What direction does it go? This way? I think it goes this way. Can you tell what this is? A woo? Yeah, it's a woo. A wop? I don't think it's a wop. A wee. There we go. So this is a Wii that I put a clear custom case on, and same thing, AliExpress. It even comes with the Nintendo logo, which you know they would never do IRL. But this one, I remember this one was a real pain in the ass because, like I said, the PlayStation One is like 5 or 6 screws, and it just comes apart. And then the Wii sucks. It really sucks. I can't tell you how much this thing was a pain because can you even see it through here? Not really. Not really. So there's like a black and gray wire here, and the wire goes all the way around attached to the case, and it's the Wi-Fi, I think. Um, so like the antennas are in here, it's like packaged up really crappy, but it works. It works really well. Um, I do have a black Wii instead from Japan. But this one's pretty good. Yeah. I don't have the. It had a plastic cover, dust cover for the GameCube ports, but it didn't. The casting wasn't good, and it didn't hold in there. Usually, the clear plastic is harder to work with because it's brittle. The regular Wii is a little bit more flex, and it works a little bit better. This clear plastic is very brittle, and it doesn't work quite so good. See, there's the. Does it still have the memory card? No, I put in the other one. It looks very nice. Thank you. Thank you. I love doing this. I tried finding some cases for the PS3, but I couldn't find any. And especially, I'm looking for them what? 12 years after they were a thing. So like if I looked up PlayStation 5 ones, I could probably find it. But like PS4 ones, a little rarer. PS3 ones, no. Now you're not going to find that. And ordering from China, pain in the butt. I hate ordering from China because it takes forever. And right now there's tariffs too because fuck my life. So here we are. Let's take off these screws. Two more to go. I never thought I'd be streaming in the science and technology channel or category or whatever the hell it's called. But here we are. Is this screw just spinning? It's got some tension on it. You ordered a hat on Amazon. It came from China. Now you have to wait 2 months. Hempy, that's how I got that striped, that horizontally striped shirt, the Russian one, the Russian military one. I ordered it on eBay and it was like $10. I was like, oh, cool. I'll get a shirt. That's cute. And I didn't realize it came from Russia. So I, I had to wait it was like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months for it to come in. Yeah, I think this might be stripped. It's not going anywhere. Let me try this. Oh, okay. Things are moving. Let's we'll just watch the video more.
You pull out a screw that's 1 inch long, you pulled out the wrong one. These screws are quite long. Even here, they're T10 torque screws, so you gotta have that screwdriver for bits. Before I proceed any further, I'm going to take the eject button out. So I just get my tongue pressure in there, give it a little wedge, and
Oh, they take the button out. Let's see here. You got the same problem with delivery from China? Yeah, it sucks when you oh, there it goes. Came right out. That's the little eject button. Really weird design on this one. So this one doesn't, you press the button here and the whole thing hinges, and this is actually what presses the button. Kind of weird.
directly away from the face of the Xbox. The eject button just pops right on. I'm going to put that somewhere safe. And now that the screws are released, and the eject button is off, I'm free and clear to remove the other side of the Xbox. There's nothing to hold it in place. Switch right off and reveal.
Okay, good, good. Coming apart. I hear, oh, uh-oh. There we go. But sometimes it gets through fast. That's how it always goes. You can't win everything. So this side has got sheet metal with it. Oddly enough, a little bit of dust in here. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. Um, Let me get that screw before it falls off. Okay, there's a piece of plastic we broke. Whatever. Ah, you could see it. I found it. See that little white piece of plastic right there? Right where my finger is? That broke off from the panel. That wasn't needed anyways. Fact. That's true. And we're just going to leave it there. Who cares? So before we get to the console, let me just try to show this off. That's another piece of plastic. Light. There we go. Whoop. Xbox 360 console. Manufacture date 2009. August 17. So this is one of the very latest run of the Xbox 360 Fat before they switched to the Slim. And you can also tell it's one of the later ones because it has the HDMI port. But yeah. And the reason I'm okay with showing all these serial numbers is I don't even think the Xbox 360 store is on right now. So I think they shut that shit down. So no support for this. Okay. So now we have our console. Was the Red Ring of Death on this later run? No, they fixed it relatively early. If I'm reading correctly, they fixed it pretty early on, except it was so common. I think it was like 40%. 40% of consoles had that problem, but only the first and second revisions of the FAT had it. So by the time they added the HDMI port, you're pretty safe. But the reputation lives on, right? Um, Xbox 360 store shut down in 2023 or 24. I think it was actually this year. I I believe it was this year, early this year, or late last year. Because I did buy Dead Space Extraction. Extraction? Yeah, Dead Space Extraction. And I played it on stream with this console. That's hard to hear as someone who had two 360s go down. Yeah. That's why I didn't. I was like, do I want to fix this one or do I want to get another one? And I was like, to be safe, I would rather just get another one. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to get this little piece of plastic out of here. So I'm going to got my screwdriver. We're going to come in from and grab this guy. Do I use forceps or do I use pliers. I have tweezers as well. No. Let me get out the pliers. I got these wire snippers. So it's like strip wire and little pliers at the end. And then these also flip around and they cut wires. These are pretty useful. So let me get this on the edge here. I'm gonna come in from underneath. Okay, there's my bit. Get my pliers. Grab a hold of that. Whoops. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Gotta remember. And it's coming out. Okay. All right. We got our screw. And here's the stud that broke off from the bottom piece of plastic. So you could tell this was just spinning right there. Won't come out. So we just got that out. So now we're going to have an extra screw. Always great. Weight savings. Now, what do we actually want to do? I actually just wanted this information. So technically we're done. Let's actually get this guy out of here. Let me see here. Oh, actually, let me write this down first. All right. Well, do I need to write it down? I guess not, but at least it'll look like I'm doing something on stream. Let's see here. I'll turn on my light. That helps me out a little bit. This is made by Philips. Philips, wonderful, and it has a model number too. Perfect. That should be what I need. Oh, wow, that's just loose in there. And our heatsink looks pretty good. A little silver seal. Oh, wow, there is actually a piece of tape holding this thing in. Holy shit. That doesn't feel right to me. Wow. Wow, it really was a piece of tape. Okay, now before we rip it out, let's get the power. Let's use some pliers for this. Got some needle nose. Up. Straight out the back. This one's gonna be a little bit trickier. That's not factory standard? No, it is. The guy was like, oh, there's a seal on the front. I'm like, seal? And I look at it, and when he says seal, the guy means a piece of tape. There's a piece of tape on the front. Where are my tweezers? There you go. Got some tweezers here. And hopefully this is good enough for this little connector. I don't want to mess this one up. Oh, there you go. Wonderful. Do you have, I hope you have replacement tape. Do I have tape? Yeah, I got it. Different colors of it too. Oh, it wouldn't be factory tape? You're right, it's metal. Do I have metal tape? So you might not believe this, but whoops. Oh, oh, get back in there. I do have metal tape. I do have metal tape. This is from when I repaired 8 tracks. I used to repair compact cassettes and 8 tracks. So yeah, if we want to put metallic tape on there, we can. Okay, so I was like, oh, let's keep ripping this thing apart. I need to get the hard drive out, and it's literally just, you could see the piece of tape. Right, there's one. And where's the other piece? There it is. There's the other piece of tape. It is just a piece of tape. Thanks, Microsoft. Wow. And so unfortunately this thing is what's dead. Um, it opens just fine, closes just fine, but it just won't read a disk. So this is what I'm going to be looking for. Actually, I guess we're here. Let me see how much this is going to cost me. So move my T over here. I got my second PC. Let's see. Do I go by model number? Probably model number, right? The blue one is the strongest. I don't know. So that electrical tape, I I used it to put it on my Wii guitar. Hold on. Ow. See, so on my Wii guitar, I covered it with electrical tape, vinyl tape. Came out pretty cool. It looks nice. It's cute. You can never have enough electrical tape. Okay, so let's go to Fleabay. And let's try the model number. EG. I have a 10 key on this. 1, 6, D, 2S. Oh, 9C. Wow. So the first few listings are, I'm just looking at the listings here. Sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. Let's go to the ones that aren't sponsored. Here we go. $28, $39, $33. Here's one for 10. 10 free shipping. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. That's kind of low. 96% positive. It's probably broken. Yeah, but I mean, if it's broken, I could just buy 3 of them, right? I could just buy 3 of them for the same price as one that also might be broken, right? Just because they're expensive, does that mean they're working? Right? You don't know. You don't know. How do you even test it? Do you think they sit there and they put them into Xboxes and test it? You don't know. So, but yeah, it looks like this is gonna cost me probably $30, right? Like here's one that's defective, and they're selling it for 21, right? So probably the working ones are the $30 ones. Yeah. Ah. And you know how much the new Xbox cost me? that Xbox 360 Slim that cost me 60, right? So it's like spend 30 to fix it with something that you don't know if it's going to work, or just spend 60 for the better model that, pretty sure it's going to work. So yeah, sometimes it's not, dollar for dollar worth it to repair. Not exactly, right? But still interesting. So I'll keep a hold of this. We're not going to put this back together today, but let's see if we could actually fuck around with this even more. Put that over there. The fun of fix, yes, which is why I kept it. Because I wanna know what these things are like inside. Just drink some coffee. No tea. Okay. Is this loose? That's loose as well. Okay, yeah, it just has a tab like the other ones. Let's try to get in here. What am I even doing? It's just black. Oh, there we go. Ta-da. Slightly dusty. You really can't see any dust. It's washed out. There you go. This is the only tiny bit of dust in here, and like that's nothing. That's nothing. Kind of gross. Don't breathe in that dust. That's human skin, probably. It's probably my coworker's human skin. Anyways. We got access to the fans here. That doesn't seem bad, dust-wise. No, it's not. It's not bad at all. When I got this from him, first thing I do whenever I buy electronics used is I take them outside and just, I had an air compressor, just hit him with the air compressor, right? Just blow the dust out. And I don't remember it being very dirty. He probably had it in probably in the living room, on a console shelf, right? And that's usually a good place. The times when these get really dirty is like if they're on the floor, if they're on like a dresser, and dust falls onto them. That's when they get really dirty. If you have pets, if you have a dog, oh shit, you know. But usually not that bad, right? Can I take the heat sinks off? No, I don't believe so. Unless they come out from the other side. But I don't think this is meant to be serviceable like that. Oh, interesting. You can take the fans out like that. You're just staring at your PS5 on top of the TV stand as you pet your cat. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that that's a recipe for disaster, but blow it out, right? PS5 is easy because you could just snap those side covers off, snap those off, bam, hit it with the canned gas or hit it with the air compressor. You know, you would wash your car, right? So wash your computer. I say as I have my computers are just absolutely filthy. But it's the thought that counts. Wow, this metal is sharp. Ow. Okay, these. Oh, what are you caught on? What are you caught on the bottom? Ah, there's a little plastic hole on the bottom. Okay, got the fans. Little connector here. We're just gonna be real careful. Okay, give me the friggin' tweezers. Not cooperating. There you go. You clean your PC. Yeah. No, I mean, well, here's the thing. Your PC actually runs a lot better than you think it does when it's warm. So you should have a lot of overhead, thermal overhead, where you can just, overheat it a little bit and it'll still run basically the same. So don't feel too bad about it. You can see these fans are together. This is one unit. And can you make out the dust? Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see a little bit of that dust on camera. Not terrible, right? But I'll give it a good wipe down. And I don't think this guy goes any further, does he? No, no, he really doesn't. Not in this video. Honestly, I'm looking at the motherboard here, and I don't see any places to... I don't see any screws here, to be honest. Where are the screws? Doesn't make sense. You haven't cleaned your PC in 6 months? You have 3 cats? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know it. Something just fell out of this. I hope it's not important. Alright. Well, I think that's as far as we can realistically get. Because I'm looking at the back and I'm like, damn, this is gonna be a motherfucker to take apart more than this. And it's not really meant to be taken apart. You know, when I took apart my PS3 and even the PS4, um, this had a very easy to take off, like it looked just like a computer. Spring plate on the back, take it off, the heatsink comes off. This one looks, I mean, it does have screws here. I mean, you know what? I'm not a pussy. I'm not a pussy. I got another Xbox. Whatever. Let's take this shit apart. These are these T10s? No, they're not T10s. They're even smaller. Let's go have T7s. Maybe a T8. Commit? Yeah. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen, right? It's just e-waste. And to be honest, that's what it was before. And if I'm gonna put it together, we'll go with a T8. If I'm gonna put it back together, it's gonna run fucking good. It's gonna have fresh thermal paste or whatever it's in there. And if not, I'll put it next to the dumpster next to my apartment and we'll leave it for some homeless guy to smoke crack out of. And be with her 3 cats. I only had 1 cat. He's really cute. His name is Cinder. He's with my parents right now. Okay. Usually when taking off a CPU, you want to do it evenly. But so I did opposite sides here off, and then you can see how this is an X meant to distribute, stay rigid as it distributes pressure. Cinder. Cinder with a C? Yes. He is Cinder because he is gray. Like a cinder block. And in my my genius, I was like, wow, I should name him Cinder because he's gray. Maybe I should post a photo of him in the pets channel. Very nice. Okay, there's our 4 screws from this one. I think these are 2 separate ones. Where can I put these where I don't forget? Put them right there. Are you gonna fall out now? Okay, it's still in place. Let's take out the other screws. You know, when in doubt, just keep taking screws out. Right? What's the worst that could happen? Put the screws in my teacup, there's still tea in there. There's still tea in there, Hempy. Oh, I've been meaning to ask, did you get the secure boot working on your computer? You hope the cat distribution system finds you? I saw a really cute black cat on my way to the grocery store the other day, and I went to pet him, and then he like hit my hand, and I was like, okay, you're no, you're not that nice. I'll just walk away from you. I'll just walk away from you. It's okay. Okay. 4 more screws for the pile. Good. These are all off. This is all one piece of metal, so I shouldn't have to worry about anything. Let's flip it over. Okay. Ugh. It's like loose. It's like it's loose or something, but there's still something else. Ah, okay. These are still on. These are still on. Okay, so we're gonna have to take out more screws. Wonderful. You didn't turn on your PC today? Still bumming around the house? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No rush. I actually got the I'm like level 40. I got to level 42 and I unlocked the semi-automatic shotgun, the 1014. You have a cat and his name is Oscar. Ooh. I don't know how about giving real name, like real people names to cats and stuff. Like part of me is like, you know, cool, but then part of me is like, I don't know, it's a cat. Like my cat, when I adopted him, my cat used to be named Frank. I'm like, who the fuck names their cat Frank? I hope none of you guys named your cat Frank. In that case, I'm throwing shade at you. I don't know why your sis chose that name. Yeah, I mean, how it usually goes. Okay. At this point, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just taking screws out. Come here, Frank. Frank. It goes crazy. Okay. Um, that looks like all of them. Is this gonna come out? Oh, Come on. I know you want to. Oh, wait, are these ports not gonna wanna cooperate? Maybe. If I see anything plugged through. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Same thing there. Maybe that HDMI port might fight with me just a little bit. Sterling Mio and Mishka. Those are cute names. Those are cute and completely normal names. I was about to say it'd be kind of funny if you named your cat like Hempy, and then you became a VTuber, and then oh, something something moved. I don't know if this is coming across on camera. Oh, that's moving. Yep. These are really sharp. Oh my god. Oh, is this fucking? Oh, it is. Fuckers. Okay. Got to take off screws here, and then this comes out back to our T8. Can't believe they do it like this. Are these the same screws? Yes. You went the cat VTuber route last year, but veered off course in like May or something. You know, honestly, like I became a sailor because of a mistranslation between me and my artist. And honestly, I think that's pretty cool. Let me try prying this out. And so like I think about it and I'm like, what do I actually want to be? I honestly don't know. Yeah, that is a plug. That is a plug and it's coming out. Why are you still attached? There's probably a fucking screw under here. Bet you. Ah, plastic piece. And there's a screw under there. I love plastic. I love plastic so much. Oh, it's everywhere. I live in a plastic world. Okay. Let's get this guy out. This board is that's the power button right there. Does this click? Can you can you hear this? No. No, it's not coming across. And then this is something else. But you could see it plugs into the motherboard using that plug. Now you can't hear it. I was looking at the microphone input. You can't hear that, unfortunately. There's that beautiful Microsoft screen printing. Wow, amazing. All this for a power button and LEDs. Great. Great. Okay. That should be the last thing holding this sucker in. So, oh. Ow. Okay, we're good. So we see here's a metal plate. Um, that's a dust bunny. Yeah, not bad. this is really shitty, by the way. Like, I'm sure this is like really cost effective, but damn, this is like sharp. This is like not finished at all. Uh, one hands. Hello? Any PC guys in here? What do you mean? I usually play PC. I play PC and console. I play whatever I want. We're just trying to fix my Xbox. Ah, they do have backplates. See, so these keep pressure on the cooler on the other side. What do these have? Do these have like any weird? Man, what am I looking at? These are like threaded. Um, I let me tell you, I have a water cooled PC. I have two water cooled PCs actually. My gaming PC is a 3090 and a 11900K, and I actually have a water block on both of them. If you have need help with the PC question, I'll go ahead and ask. I'm not sure if I can advise you, but I'll definitely give you my opinion. I have no idea how to. Let me get the flashlight out. Yeah, son of a bitch. These are like threaded in. So these are like really weird. These are like studs from the cooler, and then this pressure plate is like bent around it. How in the fuck do you get that off? I don't think you do, to be honest. That is fascinating. I'm gonna have to Google how to take these off. I don't think you can. Because these are like, I don't want to break any SMD components. Yeah, these are like pressed on there. Yeah, they're like permanent. Let me see if this shows up on camera. Okay, so like on a typical um CPU cooler, these would be screws, and these are like threaded. I'm jumping from a 3050 to possibly a 5060 to, and you play Call of Duty. Am I making a good choice? $300 is your budget. How's your CPU? What type of CPU do you have in your computer? Here we go. These are the little screws. So if we get one of these, yeah. What type of CPU do you use? Because that'll be helpful information as well. Um, you have a 3600 and you're upgrading that as well. Interesting. So what is that getting upgraded to? Ryzen 7 5800. So you want to use a 5060 and a 5800. Oh, those are going to be excellent. Those are very good parts. Yeah. Yeah, you should be good with that. No issues there. Assuming you're playing at like 1080p, it's going to be great. you're gonna have a good time. Um, because Call of Duty is a bigger game, it's gonna have decent support. I might even risk going for Intel B580, one of the Intel GPUs, right? Because that you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck with those. And if you're playing a big game like Call of Duty, it's actually gonna get support. Um, but if you want to stick with Nvidia, yeah, 5060, you're gonna be a okay with that. Okay, so you could see how we threaded in the screw, and this screw holds the back plate on. But yeah, I've never seen these before. I've never seen them in a way where the CPU cooler goes through and then this is bent around it. So these are never coming off. So no, unfortunately we cannot change on it. Doing research on that one. Also the RX 99060 XT. I'm not an AMD GPU person. Um, I don't like how they do their drivers. I think their drivers are really half-assed usually. So I would either go with Nvidia because they usually have better driver support, or if you're playing a big title like like Call of Duty, I would risk Intel because Intel's trying to get in on the market and their GPUs are cheaper than the other guys. Um, but you're only risking having games not supported. But if you're only playing a big title, you shouldn't have that issue at all. So unfortunately, this is about as far as we could take this down. If I were to pry these off, number one, I feel like I would break something. Number two, if these are coming off, they're not going back on. So I also stream on a single PC. No, streaming makes it more complicated. Um, I'm not sure what it's like to stream on one PC because I usually use a double PC setup. So I'm not sure if I can help you out there as much as you'd like. So let's get this back. Wait, am I missing something? No, we're good. Arctic, be careful with that. Um, we're good. We're good. He's bragging again. I'm bragging about my PC setup that I worked so hard. I earned so much money working my dead end job to afford the only thing that makes me happy in life. Oh no, I do have disposable income. I'm I'm very ow. I'm very fortunate to have that, thankfully. Let me just get a couple screws in, and then we'll put the rest together. How could you? How can I use my working life to be able to have the freedoms to make myself and others happy? Oh no. Oh no. It was relatable until I said disposable income. I mean, to be honest, I you know, when I started working as a bus driver, it was like the shittiest job you can imagine. right? But at the same time, because it's so terrible of a job that no one wants to do, it actually pays pretty good. So if you can put up with terrible people and long hours and seniority and all that crap, eventually the money's pretty worth it, right? But that's a big ask. You know, and that's one of the reasons why this is a hobby to me, and I'm willing to like, you know, commission art and stuff and spend money because this is like my hobby. One hands, thank you for the follow. To be honest, it's hard for me to value money over environment. You quit your last job? Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. Um, when I was a bus driver, I was working 6 days a week, mandatory for 2 years. Thank you for the help. Thank you for stopping in. I hope it works out for you, but just on the CPU and the GPU you mentioned, you should be good. So so hopefully that works out. Um, I worked about 55 hours a week for where do these screws go? I have no idea where these screws go. What am I doing? How many do I have left? I have two left. Okay, I know where those go. So I worked a lot. I worked a lot more than I wanted to. And to get away from that job, now we're putting on this power button board. To get away from that job, I ended up going to be a mechanic. Same company, right? Same public transportation. There we go. That's plugged in. Um, these are magnetic. I started working as a mechanic, as an apprentice. I learned how to be a mechanic, and I learned how to solder. I learned. I, I guess I learned how to weld. I'm a very terrible welder, to be honest. I can't weld to save my life. Um, but I'm decent with engines, diesel at least, and that's kind of where I got the confidence to work on my own electronics as well, because I know basic electronics. Um, I do have my license for amateur radio, but that was like how many years ago? That was like 7 years ago. I don't remember that. So I just try new things and see how they work out. See if I have fun doing them. So those are back on. Time for this piece of plastic. Oddly enough, this has some arrows on the top. Come on. Now you want to focus. There we go. It has two arrows on the top. Kind of weird. Put that back on. Which way does this go? The arrows really are not helping me. Let's flip those upside down. No, that doesn't seem right. Oh, that clicked. That looks good. Yeah, there we go. I've been trying to teach myself a bit more simple electronics like breadboard and such. I think it's if you don't like because like breadboards Breadboards can be like really intimidating and really useful for certain things, but if you really like the hands-on stuff, I recommend getting yourself a like a crystal radio or an LED cube, and it's just like printed circuit boards, and you have to solder everything together and test the components to make sure they work. And I think that's a really interesting way to get into that kind of stuff. So like I have knocking stuff out of my toolbox here. Um, I have like a cheap solder torch, solder pen, solder. What are these things called? Soldering iron. There we go. So I have this really cheap soldering iron, 25 watts, and this is like bottom of the barrel, but it works. And honestly, I didn't learn how to solder electronics like this first. I learned how to solder on cars and well on buses really. So instead of using an electronic one, you could see this one's electric, right? It's electric. Um, I had a butane one. I had one that was like basically like this part was a lighter, and you just had to sit there, you know, and then the lighter would go off. Is that a wall plug iron? Yeah, this is a cheap soldering iron. I would use a butane one. I used butane soldering iron, and that's how I'd like solder when I was doing like starters and stuff. Because I was like, those are some real heats. You know, you can solder real stuff with that. These, you know, you can solder a few components and stuff. Solder without flux for the amateur experience. Well, see, snacks. I have, of course, I got my flux. Right, I got flux. Come on, you think this is amateur hour? And then I also have I have this stuff that pisses me off. This is lead free, right? You tried soldering without flux? Well, see, that's the problem. If you're using this stuff, the lead free stuff, you're not going to get anywhere. But if you have the good stuff, do I have the good stuff still? Oh yeah. Here we go. And you could like feel it. No, no, no. The lead free one is goaded. Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. This thing is 37% lead. That's how you know this stuff is good. You know what science is? Science is like, wow, look at all the cool stuff that we could do with heavy metals. And then there's an entire other section of science that is like, wow, how do we do all that cool stuff without heavy metals? You know? Too much yapping, not enough soldering. What am I soldering? I didn't break anything. There's nothing to solder. What can I take? Yeah, let me rip something off of this Xbox, this working Xbox, to solder it back on. What are you trying to do then? Well, Pork Chop over there was trying to tell me about his time, and then I was like, oh, encouraging him. I was like, yeah, just get into it, you know, get some stuff. I'm trying to get the where's this. We already completed our objective. I got the disk drive out, so I need to buy another disk drive. That's all we're doing. We're replacing the disk drive. Everything else works. Everything else is fine. It's just, you know, trying to socialize and show off my hobbies, you know, and Snacks is like, well, why don't you solder? Snacks, do you solder? Do you weld? You just wanted to see some soldering? Okay, I'll show you some. Let me see what I can solder here. Do I have some wires? Would you send me a rec to practice on? I'll find one right now. Let me, since someone wants to see it so bad. Ow. Let me find some wires. Ow. Let's go soldering time. I'm not happy to solder. I don't know what we're even soldering. There's my cheap little holder. Whoops. There we go. Ouch. 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 There we go. A little stand here with my magnifying glass because I have eyes like an old person now and I can hardly see. This all together. Loosen it enough? Nope. Nope, I hate wing nuts. There we go. Okay. My little stand there. What is this wire for? I don't know. Whatever. We'll solder the ends of this wire together. Got the iron. Okay. Be whatever. We could do with that. Okay. Plug this in. Let it warm up first. Oh, that'll burn me if it falls, okay? Okay. The soldering iron is plugged in. Gonna start heating up. Got my little thingy here. Wonder if I could actually set this up to show it on stream. Oh, yeah, that might work. This wire, I don't even remember what this wire was for. Where are my snips? I'm just gonna cut some of this. Don't need the whole length. I'm sure this is like an absurdly tiny gauge. So, can I even strip this? Does it even, what is that, a 20 gauge? Oh, yeah, that's a 20. Strip a little more off of that guy. There you go. So we have stripped the insulation off of that. There you go. Okay, that's going to be one side. Actually give this a little bit of a twist here. Alligator clip there. And let's do our black wire. I guess we could have just done the same wire and loop it in on itself, but where's the fun in that? Well, there we go. Same thing there. Black wire. And this one, we're going to leave this one. See how the strands are a little bit spread out like a brush, right? On the other one, I gave it a little bit of twist to kind of keep them together. This one I'm going to keep them a little bit apart like that. And the reason being is because I want them to mesh together first, right? Soldering is great for keeping stuff together, but at the same time, you can't let them solder won't do all the magic for you. So you can probably, yeah, you can actually see it on camera pretty well. Gonna mash these together. There we go. And let's get this into the clamp. My lovely assistant. There we go. So you see how let's show too washed out. Let me get. I have some black. I have a Scotch Brite. Yeah, you can kind of see it. You see how the wires are like meshed together, right? Now, where's my solder? Did I put the good stuff away? Ah, here it is. Why is that better than twisting the wires together? No, either way works. If you like, you can twist them together, and that might be easier to do in general. But you just want more surface area between them, because as you heat it up and you apply the solder, um, it'll wick it up. And in fact, I'll show you. I have a little. Yeah, here we go. Put that back on the iron. Please don't burn me. Please don't burn me. Okay. Oh. This is what you use to clean up solder, and it's like braided copper, right? It's like a copper braid, kind of like a fabric almost. And the little spaces in between them, and you can see it kind of moves, uh, sucks up the solder. And you kind of want the same effect here for your wires, right? You kind of want to give something for your solder to run in between and get a good hold onto. This is wrapped up. Should I use the lead stuff? Probably. Already have it right here. We're not going to flux this. This is just normal. So the key to good soldering, on the other side of my arm, you need to get the heat and put it into your material first. Okay. So if you're working on a circuit board, you can even see like, um, not a dryer. It's not a hair dryer, but it's kind of like a hair dryer. It's like an electric hot air heater, and they'll use that on circuit boards. Um, you want to get your material that is going to suck up the solder warm. Okay, so this wire, what we're going to do is we're going to touch it. We're going to touch it. And we're going to rub just a little bit, right? And what are we doing? We're just putting heat into the wire, right? That way, when the solder melts and it goes in there, it's not going to instantly freeze. Touch it and rub it. Okay. All right, it's okay. All right. Now, a good way to help is get a little bit of your solder and put it on your tip. Oh, see that smoke? That's your flux. Okay, so I put a little bit on there. Okay, wonderful. A bit more. Okay, now we're going to put it on. Put it on, rub it, and it's starting to suck it up. Now we're going to do the same thing. A little bit more. Rub it. Cool. And working with leaded solder is a little bit bad for your health. But at the same time, it's a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to work with. Fucking the tin only shit sucks to work with. Okay, that one on the bottom is a little hair sticking out. Just a little bit more. Okay, this solder actually has a rosin core, flux core, so it works pretty decent. Okay, a little bit more. Never hurts to put some more. If I splatter some on my desk, it's okay because I'm getting a new mouse pad tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna use a fuck ton. Whatever. You really appreciate the impromptu magnifying glass? Okay. Yeah, I can't. I really can't. Let me hold on. It may have moved out of the way, but that's okay. I can't. You can see what I'm doing better than I can because I'm looking over a microphone right now. Actually, let me turn this around. Yeah, that looks really ugly. Oh, holy shit, that looks terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I really can't see what I'm doing right now, but you know, it's working out. Yeah, I just fucked the wires up. Fine. Fine, no one has to know. No one has to know. It's just you and me. Just you and me, I just fucked it. Ow. Ow, that's hot. I can't believe I'm doing this so far. I wish I had my reading glasses. I don't have them here. When I was a mechanic, I used reading glasses because I can't see anything tiny. Is that good? That's that's not great, but we'll call that good just to show you. Okay. This is still hot. This is going to stay hot. That looks good. Well, not really, but we'll go with that. Uh, and I'm going to show you a test, okay? And this only goes for wires. Okay, I got my solder over here. I'm not going to burn myself. We're going to take this off the clamps. Remember, this was melting metal just a couple seconds ago, so it's still warm. Never forget that. Nixoni, hello? And this is, yeah, this is bad. But, so we look at what we soldered, and that looks terrible. That looks like a glob, but it's holding both pieces together, right? And the way one of my mentors would teach me how to solder well, he would say, all right, solder these wires together. And then you do that. And then he would go in there after you're done and he'd grab the wires. Wow, actually, wow, he would let me wrap this around my fingers. So you see how my fingers are like wrapped around the wire? And he'd grab the wires and he'd pull them apart. And it didn't fall apart. So that's a good one. Ta-da. That's how you do it. Yeah. Is this still warm? No, we're good. Like riding a bike or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be the prettiest thing in the world, but come on, focus a little more. And you could see how the wires are together, right? And that's really all you care about is that you flowed together. And now you see here, it's a little bit awkward for me Give me a. Actually, hold on. Let me unplug my iron first before this gets too hot. Okay. Whoops. Okay. What was I going to show you? Okay. So, come on. Give me a little focus. Okay. So we see how the metal right near the red insulation. It's a little blurry. Right near the red insulation, you can kind of make out the strands of the metal. And you see how it kind of sucked up that silver, right? And right where it sucked up that silver, you could see it on the black one too, right? You can't even see the individual strands. It just sucked that up. And that's the capillary motion of the solder getting melted and sucking either way. And now you got good grip. Yeah. Yeah, that looks decent. I'll try to take a photo of this and put it on the Discord later. Yeah. Okay. Um, what are we even doing? Oh, the Xbox, right. Um, yeah, I guess I should put that together. Get this out of the way. Oh, actually, MP Discord. See this? So this is solder, right? This is my roll of the good stuff. I got lucky and I got this roll. This is 40% lead. Oh yeah. Oh, this is the good stuff. Um, I don't think he has his own. I've pestered before. Oh yeah, on Hempy Discord. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll put a photo in there. Nah, I don't have a Discord. I'm on Gloomy Discord, or I'll post on Hempy Discord as well. But yeah, this is the good stuff because it's heavy. Oh, actually, I guess I could show you. Do I have? Hold on. Do I have something to suck up with this wick? Nah, it's too much trouble. I already unplugged my iron. We're good. Where's that Xbox? Move that over here. Oh. Okay. So what did we do? We put the front plate back on. And I guess we have the yellow screws left. So we'll turn this over. Start putting in some screws. And I think we were using T10 for these. Yeah, these are T10. Switch back out. Now, the ones that were the long ones are the ones in these indentations here. These. And I believe these. So we're going to do all of them except those. I'll be back soon. Just one more cup of coffee. Make sure it's a good coffee. Yeah. So, I mean, and I've even done like VCR repair. I would go to Goodwill and buy VCRs and try to repair them. Pork chop going to bed. Good night. Yeah, I'll post a photo, and I'll use that little magnifier just so you can see a little bit better. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. But yeah, I used to use. I'd go to Goodwill and just buy electronics there, and not even to fix them properly. Just to take them apart and see what's on the inside, right? And it's a cheap way to get your hands on something, and then you could find like on this Xbox, if this was a bad Xbox, you could take out the capacitors and then put them back in as practice. Really, the only person stopping you from learning is you. There's plenty of cheap electronics out there that are no good to anybody, but at least if you learn something from it, it's worth it. This is the port for the hard drive. Sure, that's in there. And then two more here for these front ports. Okay. I think we only got the big screws left, so let's get that panel out. Actually, do I want to do this? I was about to say, we can hook this up to this, but then this will have to come off again to put the new CD drive back in. Do I want to do that? Yeah, actually, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. So, might be kind of weird, right? You see this, how this is metal? And you see this, how this motherboard is in metal as well, right? And I want you to keep looking. You see this PlayStation 2, and you see how the bottom of this is all metal over the motherboard, right? And over here on the top too. Why are they covered in metal? Why are all these electronic devices, why do they have sheet metal around them? Do you know why? Right? Even the Wii, right? Look at this. You can't even see the circuit board. Just covered in metal. Because they weren't cheap back then? That's a good guess. That's honestly a very good guess. No. No, the answer is because of electromagnetic radiation, because of interference, the concern for interference, right? Um, you don't want this next to, imagine a CRT, right? Imagine that, you know how on a CRT, you could even put your hand in front of it and you could feel your hairs standing up from that static, right? Like there's a lot of just electromagnetic noise in the world. And putting your electronics in a sheet metal box is basically how to block that. Yeah. And that's why your computer, same thing. Your computer's in a metal box, right? That's why we do all that stuff. So this sheet metal, technically not needed, but it is for electromagnetic shielding. That's what it is. Neat. You have to unplug your TV because you can hear the noise? Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a different issue, but also same thing. Sorry if you heard that. These tall black pieces, let me get my pointer out. These tall black pieces are capacitors, right? They get charge, they hold charge, and they release it, right? And now, sometimes you'll hear capacitors, um, especially if you think of like a very old camera. Like if you remember those old cameras and You know, you flash them and then you get that noise. It's a very high pitched, like noise. It's a very distinct sound, and you probably know the sound, even if I can't make it, because it's a very high noise. That's these. Those are capacitors. If you have a GPU and your GPU, you'll start up like an indie game or something, and you start up the menu, and the menu is at like 5,000 FPS because there's no limiter in the menus. These coils, right? These coils, I mean, you could call them coils, and that's kind of their name. They're technically called inductors, I think, inductors. And they just change voltage from one thing to another. And yes, coil whine. They will vibrate ever so slightly, and that's probably what you're hearing in your TV. Yeah, so your power supply will make that. Um, these are either MOSFETs, coils, capacitors, little resistors over here. That's a circuit board. Yeah, well, I mean, I have a CRT, and yes, when it's on, I can hear it. I can hear that coil. Although that coil's from the yoke. Different issue. Different issue, but with the same problem, basically. Let me just lightly assemble this. I don't actually want to put it together all the way. Where did this go? Oh, the fans. I forgot the fans. How did I forget them? They're so important. Do I care about cleaning these? Not really, to be honest. They're clean enough. Gonna slip this right in here. Oh, there you go. Wash them in the dishwasher. They should be fine after the dishwasher. TBH. But I need my little tweezers here to help me out. Okay, those are in there. So the only loose connections we have here are the data cable and power cable. Actually, no, this is the power, and this is the data. Yeah, this is a little SATA wire. Do I have another SATA cable? It's not worth. It's not worth changing it out. It's not the wire. I was like, oh, technically it could be the wire. I could just change the wire. Nah, fuck that. We're not changing. We're not changing the wire. Who cares? Okay, now this goes. Okay, like this. Double check. All right, that looks good. Which one is broken? Hold on. I forgot we broke. Ow. We broke one of the posts. This one. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we mark that on the side. So it's gonna be that screw. Make sure we get a Sharpie out. Just unbreak it. Wow. Wow, just unbreak it. Giga brain. You know, but think about it. Like, feel how heavy these screws are, and we just got rid of one screw. Think of how much faster our Xbox is going to be with that weight reduction. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it adds up. You hold your marker in an interesting way. I mean, oh, like that. This is how I write. This is how my grandma held stuff. This is how I write with the open my mitt. That's like an artist technique or something. Is it? I can't draw. I can't draw to save my life. I cannot get these threads to start. Let's try another one. Okay, that thread's not starting either. What is going on? Calligraphy or maybe writing with a pen? No, I don't know. I never thought about it. That's just how I write. Like if I were to get a notepad out, what if you've been the one doing it weird your whole life? I don't think so. I think most people write differently than I do, but this is how I write. You know, it's not the best. It'll do, right? Just I can read it readable. Yeah, everything's lined up. I don't know why this isn't. I don't know why this isn't working. Hold on, maybe I have to do it from here. Okay, I see the hole. Okay, there we go. I think it's right there. You know, they say it's always lower than you think it is. There we go. That's a good one. Wow, there's just nothing there. Are you kidding me? Okay, there's nothing there. Cool. Oh, there we go. This one's in. Man, we might get rid of more screws at this rate. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I think you broke your warranty. Yeah, well, this thing was made in 2009. So it's only um did I just break another stud? I did. I did just break another stud. Okay, this might be a one screw job. This might just be a one screw. I know that this one is a good post, so we're gonna do that one. Now I gotta take this thing off. There we go. And we flip it back over. And you can see right there, the plastic broke right off of that end of that screw. Great. Why do I even try? Every goddamn. Okay, so let's put our screwdriver on the bottom. Put our little pliers out. All right. Grab the plastic, and we are gonna loosen this. That shit out of here. Well, there's another screw we won't need. And another one to mark off. I don't even know why I'm trying so hard, to be honest. Because I'm gonna be taking this thing back apart, like as soon as I'm done. As soon as I get the other CD drive, this is gonna be coming apart again. So and I'm putting it in the wrong way. One genius. There we go. There you go. You try because it's your hobby, so you care. I mean, so like the reason why I said that was because I've worked on better things than this, right? Like when I look at my computer or when I look at the PlayStations, and those are very nice things to work on, right? Like I said before, the PlayStation stuff, just some screws, easy, right? This Xbox with like the plastic and the sheet metal, uh, kind of sucks, to be honest. And so working on something that is like sharp and cheap and like not really friendly to work on, that's broken too. That's kind of like a little bit frustrating. That's broke. That's broke. Maybe this one works. You know, like taking when we were taking this thing apart, you know, I got little bits of microplastic all over my desk from how much these things already broke. Can I get this in here? No. You know what? 2 is good enough. Whatever. 2 out of 6, good enough. Like that's a piece of plastic that broke, right? Um, this bottom cover, pretty sure we broke this. Is that it right there? Yeah, you can't really see it. You could see how it like snapped there. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it just snapped. You know, brittle. I'm sure when this was new, yeah, you could just like pop this out, right? But now that this is like, you know, over 15 years old, yeah, it's probably brittle. They're just snacks. Yeah. It's nothing but snacks. I love microplastics. Oh, I forgot the heat shroud. You know what? I'm just gonna put this in a pile. This is gonna go in a pile, and when I get the new CD drive, then we're gonna put it back together. That's what we're gonna do. All right. Let me get this out of the way. There is one more thing I want to mess with, and that's the hard drive. This is the hard drive that you would have to buy separately when you bought your Xbox, right? Because the Xbox came with like, I think this version that I have, it comes with 512 megabytes in the memory. and you'd have to get a hard drive. Now, Sony, you would buy a PlayStation, and the PlayStation would be like, all right, 500 gigabytes, and that's in the PlayStation, and you could take it out and change it. No, this is not a shield. This is just a fancy way for Microsoft to fuck you over because there's just a hard drive in this, a regular hard drive, and instead of like Sony, where it's just in the PlayStation, you buy it, it's already in there. On the Xbox, you would buy the Xbox 360, and then if you wanted to like save your game or install your games, you need to buy an extra one of these to plug it in to use that memory. And they tried to sell it as like they were doing you a favor. They were like, "Oh no, look, you can install games on this, and then when you have another game, just buy another one of these, right? And this is 120 gigs, and don't get me wrong, that's a lot of games, right? Skyrim back then was like six gigabytes or something. Yeah, Microsoft is really good at ripping you off. Um, Now you could buy one of these and open it up and change the hard drive in there, right? And then the later Xboxes, they realized that people weren't buying these, so then they started like selling the Xboxes Generation 2, the Slims, and Generation 3, the E's. Those those you could actually buy them with the internal hard drive. What is this? This is a T7. Man, this is too small for a T7. Holy shit. Let's change our bits here. Do I have anything smaller than a T7? I probably do. Yeah, but no, Microsoft being a bunch of assholes is nothing new. These are, yeah, here we go. These are the smaller ones. Gusev, hello. Let's try a T5. To a T5 bit. A little loose. Can you actually put inside an SSD? So here's the thing. At least Sony with the PlayStation 2, you could buy a hard drive and put it in. PlayStation 3 comes with a hard drive, but you can also rip it out and put your own in, which I've done. I did on mine. I actually replaced mine from a hard drive. I went to a solid state drive to make it faster. And same thing with my PlayStation 4. Yep, just as well. And the PlayStation 5 actually comes with a mount. So you could put a NVMe SSD into your PlayStation 5. And they're just saying they don't even sell it as a Sony one. Is it worth it on PS3? Um, if you are a big PS3 gamer and you have a lot of games, yes. If you just have a couple games and you're okay with them, no. No, it's not worth it. Because the PS3 needs the FAT32 file system, FAT32. You can it only supports up to like just under 2 terabytes of data. Um, so even if you buy like a fucking huge hard drive to put in your PS3, high capacity, it can't actually read it because of the file system, because it's only a 32-bit file system. Now you can mod your PS3 and then it would work, but that's that's a separate story. We're just, you know. Okay, so I took 3 screws off. Ah, here's what they do to fuck you over. Screw 1, screw 2, right? Symmetrical at the top. Screw 3 is right here. And then screw number 4, they put under this little sticker to know if you voided your warranty. Little bastards. Cut that out. Yeah, I upgraded mine on the PS4 as well. I have like a 2 terabyte drive in my PS4. Although I don't think you need to upgrade that on the PS4 because you could just. I think the PS4 accepts external hard drives, like a USB hard drive. So if you just get an external hard drive, um, and you just need more storage, you could do that on your PS4. Not on your PS5, because the PS5 actually needs faster memory to run your games, because otherwise games just won't load properly. Oh, there goes the button. So you can see this is just another sheet metal cage. Oh, spring and a button. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't run away! Don't run away! Now we got 2 more screws right here. These look like they're T. Got rid of the other ones. I think these are T10s. Let's try number 10. No, I guess they're 8s. That should do it. Yeah, I really like seeing the old mods on PlayStation 2s because you could mod your PlayStation 2 to accept a hard drive. But that was a little bit before my time, so unfortunately I never got to see it. Okay, we took the 4 screws out. Okay, little flimsy sheet metal. Is that it? I guess that's it. Now we see our 2.5-inch hard drive disk, and it's plugged in up here. But I don't see anything on the back here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend this down slightly, and then we're gonna pull. And I bet you it'll just come right out. Just like that. You see how it just came right out? And then we slide it out. Ta-da. And now this caddy just is like that. And here is the actual hard drive. Okay. And this is a Western Digital 160 gigabyte, 2.5-inch hard drive disk. This is actually newer than the console, probably because someone bought it separately, because they had to. This is from November of 2010, so this is 15 years old. Okay, now here's the scummy part. This label on the hard drive, you only get 120 gigabytes. So they sell it as a 120, but it's actually a 160. You know, go fuck yourself, I guess. Classic. Classic. All right, so that's all I wanted to see. So let's put this baby back together. We're just gonna slide it in. And yeah, if you got another one, or if you got a solid state, because nowadays you could buy a solid state drive, 1 terabyte, pretty cheap, and just pop it in there. We're gonna use this and get it lined up. And we just plug it in. Plug. There you go. Microsoft based, yeah. I love Microsoft. You know, it's kind of funny that, Xbox is basically dead. Like, they came onto the market with the Xbox, the original, and, did it have games that were better than the PS2? No, but it looked better than the PS2, so it had that going for it. And it had some better online features than the PS2, at least initially. And then Xbox 360 came out, and Xbox 360, you could see, had some shitty moments with it. Red Ring of Death, these fucking hard drives, just a bunch of bullshit. But because of Call of Duty and because of Gears and because of Halo, um, Xbox just did a lot better, right? Xbox did a lot better. Probably because the PlayStation was just way too expensive when it came out. And ever since then, Xbox has just been fumbling over and over. Like the Xbox One with the Connect bullshit, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I'm like, how? You were competing and beating Sony, and you fucked it up, you know? And I don't want to say like, oh, you know, Sony is better because, they're a company too. I forgot these. Forgot to put this on. They're a company too. God knows they do bad stuff as well. But, at least competition on the market keeps them all a little bit honest with each other. Kind of like the time when Xbox One was getting announced and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can't trade your games with your friends. That's not a thing." And then Sony was like, they filmed it in the conference room and they were like, "Here's how you share with friends on the PS4." And it was like one guy and he was like, "Hey, here's my game." "Okay, thanks." Just to fuck over Microsoft. It was so funny. Put these screws in. Flip it over. There you go. Okay. Now we got this back in there in its cage. These buttons fell out. Whoops. So let's try to fix that. How does this fit? Maybe the other way. Okay, good. And we just need the spring in here. There. Little helper here. Good. How the hell does this work? Ah, there you go. Okay. So I got this back together. And you could see we have our little spring, keeping tension on these lugs here. It's all one piece. And then our button. And because of the angle here, when we press the button down, it moves the locking tabs back. Okay. Let's put this back on. Exclamation mark YouTube. I have a YouTube. The link's down below. I don't know how to set up my bot. I always put my old VODs up just for fun. I'm sure someone, I don't know. I don't know who would ever watch my old VODs, but I like to know that they're there just in case. These were the tiny ones. You don't see it? Hold on. If you don't see it, I'll get it for you. There we go. Which one was it? It was a T6. Okay, put these last 4 screws in. I don't think it's in the description. It's in one of those link things on the side. I'll have to look at it another day. Oh, you thought it was in the binary message? No, it's above that. It's actually I don't know if you're on mobile, but it says where it says about Arctic. Right, it should be right there, next to the Twitter thingy. Although that is a good point. I guess if you can't find it, I should put it another time there. Did I put this together right? Yeah, that's good. That'd be kind of cruel if I put my YouTube links in binary. That'd be kind of weird. I mean, I kind of fuck with it. I like where you're going with that, but you know, I'm not sure that'd be the best thing in the world. Okay, last screw. You can see it in your bio. Well, thank you, Hempy. I didn't mean to call out, you know, Nick Sony like that, but you know. So, ta-da! Back together. Well, that was interesting. I'm in mobile. Ah, okay. I don't know. To be honest, that's really all I thought. Empty gaslighting. Oh. Uh, that's all I wanted to do today. I'm trying to think if I have anything else. Not really, to be honest. What is this? A deoxit? Nope, that's weird. Lightning gas? Lighting gas. What is this? This is like nail polish. Oh, this is the varnish. This is varnish. Take apart your PC and put it back together live. Okay, to be honest, so I have water I have water cooling on both of my computers, and I have I have never changed the water out on them, right? I used um EK water blocks and pipes and stuff, and I've never changed the water. You're supposed to change the water like every 3 months or something, and it's been uh 5 years more maybe. It's been a long it's been a long time. So I don't think I'm gonna change it out. There's no mold. I'm looking at it. There's no mold. The pipes are turning yellow. They were clear, but now they're yellow. But I specifically chose really thick pipes for low maintenance. And and then on one of my computers, on the big computer with the 11900, I used to have the EK. What was it even called? The thermoelectric cooler, the Peltier cooler, and that was like a special water block that would run electricity through it to refrigerate your CPU, like actually cool it below ambient temperature, not just like take the heat away, but like to actually freeze it, like cool it. And because I spent, it was a big hobby for me. And so I when I put it together, I used that, and I had to do a bunch of weird stuff because I had to think about the 3090, which is hot as hell, the CPU, which is also hot as hell. So that's like, what, 370 watts plus 200 watts for the CPU when it's under boost. So that's already 570 watts of heat. And then the cooler, to cool one side, created additional heat. So that's like another 100 watts. So I had like a 1.2 kilowatt power supply for this computer. And then I filled it with coolant, and I found these really cheap radiators on eBay. And I don't know if you know, like, the radiators in a computer, usually they go like in increments of 120 millimeters for the fans, right? Because you want one square of radiator for each fan. So usually there'll be like two fans or three fans. Well, I found a couple that were four fans big, and two of them. And I actually screwed them onto the top of my computer, and I put the hoses to the outside. And you know what? Do I have photos? I might have photos. It might just be easier to show you. Show you my insane computer build that I totally take really good care of. One I just really good. Is it kind of fucked up that I have photos of my computer on my computer? Is that like that weird? You have a $9 CPU fan? No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, once you see what I did to it, and I'll be like, yeah, I used wire cutters to cut through the case, and I had to drill through it, just because I could. Where are their photos? Are these on the computer, or are they on my phone still? Building Navi from Lane? Kinda. Well, that's what my setup looks like right now. Because I have two computers and the TVs and everything. Um, because I do like that. I think it's kind of funny. Where the hell are they? Camera roll? No. I have a folder called memes. I don't think they're in there. That's a picture of a chicken. Okay, maybe they're on my phone. I know they're on my phone. Okay, send it to this computer. That's the wrong button. There we go. Local send. Okay. But it was really interesting because I still have a bunch of parts lying around, like these. These are some like fittings for the water cables or water pipes. What they look like. Just bought whatever they had, to be honest. Yeah, it looks like the thing for water hose. Yeah. Yeah, I could have done like cheaper ones. But they had just bulk of these. And I was like, oh, these will do. Put this back together. Thank you. You ever go back through your camera roll and you're just like, dude, where did all these pictures come from? I have so many pictures. I gotta start deleting some of these. Oh my god. Okay, that's the back of the TV. We're almost there. Nope, that's not it. Thought that was it. That's not it. That's a typewriter. Oh my. Oh my word. Oh, there we go. There we go. Don't open your homework folder on screen, on stream. No, don't worry. I'm showing you, getting these pictures of my computer. But it's taking me just a little bit longer than I expected. Um, Speaking of homework, I do have a not safe for work Twitter in case you want to see the not safe for work gloomy art that I put up. I guess technically, eventually I'll put some Arctic art on there, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that sometimes. Here it is. There we go. Man, it took long enough. Confirm. Send. There you go. Perfect. All right, now we're ready. Now we're ready. I say as I open up another window. Are these all out of order? Oh my god, they're sorted by date. Are you kidding me? Okay. Bold. Bold. What year are these from? Okay, so this is my computer back when I first built it. Okay, these are what the internals look like. So that's a 3090 there. That's an 11900K. Um, you could see it looks like a crazy person put it together because it is. And so the coolant comes from the top to the bottom of the GPU, and the GPU has coolant on both sides of it. And then that goes to the CPU cooler. You can see the water block for that, and then up to the radiators. And on the top, right, this is what it looks like on the top. There we go. You see what I mean about the double radiators and the pump? I just screwed them onto the top. Like I didn't know how to put them in there. I was like, well, what am I gonna? I have all these parts, and I didn't think about how to put them together. So I was just like, whatever. I'll just drill holes for the pipes and just put them together myself. Right. And it works. I mean, it works really well, to be honest. Um, let me see the other ones. What is this? Nope, that's not it. Not it. This is a little bit of a blurrier photo, but this is a little bit zoomed out. So that's what my case looks like without the GPU, I should say. Because originally the 3090 was just air cooled, but then I thought about it and I was like, why don't I just slap this whole bitch together? Why don't I just air cool everything? All air cooled everything. Where's my other photo? Okay, so this is the water block for the CPU, and this is actually a thermoelectric cooler. Now you can kind of see how the shiny silver side on the right, that's what would make contact with the CPU. Your case is too small to put in water cooling on the back. See, that's why I put mine on the top. You could just cut a hole into it and just put it on the top. And then you see that weird copper plate in there. So it would actually, this black metal piece is the controller that monitors the temperature and activates the Peltier cooler to draw heat away from the CPU, freezing it, and then putting all that heat in the water. But unfortunately, two things happened. Um, the cooler stopped working, and I think that's because there's thermal paste between the cooler and the CPU, and then there's thermal paste between the CPU and the Peltier cooler. I think that paste dried out, and honestly, it was way too much trouble. How didn't the water evaporate? Well, the system it's sealed. The system is sealed up, so water shouldn't evaporate. But do you see this like square rubber piece on the side there? That square rubber, um, you actually have to put like a foam sticker on the back of your computer on the motherboard, and you have to put that foam gasket on the front side. And some people even put Vaseline all over everything because when you cool your CPU down, water can condensate on it. Because if it's like in the refrigerator and it's cold, water will just form on it and fry your computer. So you kind of have to run that risk. Um, so when it broke, I was like, you know what? It's time to get rid of it. So I ended up doing this. This is my this is me fixing it, right? So here, actually, this is. Did I drain it out? I think I partially drained it out. So you could see I took off the cooler from the CPU and I drained it out, and I ran just a straight bypass from the GPU to the radiators to cut the link out, and then I put an air cooler. I put an air cooler on the CPU. Actually, here's a photo of that. So you could see in this version, now the water goes straight past the CPU. It doesn't cool the CPU. So the CPU is on that air cooler, and then the GPU is on water. So, it worked out. I ended up getting it working pretty well. You could see all the wires on the top right. Because back then that's the fan controller. So, because I have the 8 fans on top, so that's the fan controller. I also have like two SSDs there, and I used to have a disk drive. Yeah, I have a crazy setup. What is wrong with me? I don't know, but it's cool. I know a little bit about computers, I guess. All right, is that all of them? Is that all the photos I got? That's about all the photos. Yeah. Wait, is that one? No, no, that's not it. Looks nice and powerful. I never want to do it again. I'm at the point where I'm like, man, I hope to dear God this thing doesn't break because I do not want to deal with it breaking. All right, we're done for the day. Thank you for being here. Actually, let me go to the screen. Thanks for showing up. I hope you liked the disassembly. I didn't think I would really do something like this, but it was fun. It was a good way. It was really chill. Um, I'll post that photo of the solder in that Discord and in Hempicord. And it's 1:30 in the morning. See you later. I might stream in the morning. I might not. I don't know. And tomorrow night, I'm not gonna stream because I'm gonna go see A Lot Like Birds. Yeah, that's cool. Cheer for me. So Real Feet, thank you for coming in. Nick Sony, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Snacks, goodbye. Hempy, if you're still here, have a good night. See you later, everybody. Also, Hands, yeah, thanks for stopping in. I hope the computer works out for you. See ya.